my greatest pleasure to welcome Air Vice Marshal Timothy Marquis. Good morning, General.
Good morning. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Yes, we like to see your face, you know.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good. You don't look like a soldier. You look like one of us.
Yeah. I'm one of you. I'm one of you, sir.
No, you're a soldier, I'm a civilian, and there's a difference even in looks. So how is it
You
going?
know,
How are you doing?
thank you very much, sir, for creating this platform for us to interact with respect to the forthcoming African Military Games. I am very, very grateful, and I'm good.
Good, good, good.
And I
So,
also want to thank you on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff for your selflessness in this sporting ecosystem. I want to really thank you, sir. Yeah.
thank you
For
very,
pushing
very
this.
much.
Yes.
Kindly extend my gratitude to him. But let's start on this note. First, on behalf of all Nigerians, we want to extend our condolences to the Nigerian military, to the family, to the friends of the late Army Chief, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, who passed on last week. Kindly extend our condolences to them. We pray that the Lord will be with his family and the angels will welcome him peacefully and joyfully to heaven.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir, for these condolences. It will be passed appropriately.
Very good. Well, the first question is, we are talking sports. And for 22 years, this event, this African military games did not hold. Only one has ever held. And until this one, I didn't even know it existed. So it just shows that there's something new happening around Africa and in Nigeria also. So I'm going to ask you, your own background in sports, maybe that influenced why we are having a rebirth of this event and of sports generally, in Nigeria. You can also speak for the chief, for the chief of defense staff. Are you both former athletes? Let's start from there. Are you both former athletes in any form or shape?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to, put it on record that the Chief of Defense Staff, when we're in NDA, of course, the Chief of Defense Staff is my immediate senior, member of 38 regular course. I'm member of 39 regular course. So while in NDA, he was an aggressive sports practitioner, very aggressive on the court. He played volleyball, basketball.
Wow.
While I was in NDA, I was in the boxing team. For the 5 years that I spent in NDA, I was a boxer. While growing up in Lagos, I attended Page Freeman High School. I ran 100 meters. I represented the school in 100 meters. I'm also a footballer. When the Chief of Defense Staff attended the Federal Government College, Sokoto, while in that school, he participated in sporting activities. In fact, according to him, they usually go around the country for basketball competition. So it was one of those days where he was traveling for a particular basketball competition that he decided to just pass through Ahmadu Bello University. Because the Ahmadu Bello University, they have a very,
strong basketball team.
Very strong basketball team. So when he got there, he saw them playing, and that was what made him he decided to further his studies at the Ahmadu Bello University. While he was doing his, what they call basic studies or something like that. It was from there that he got his admission to the Nigerian Defense Academy. So the current Chief of Defense Staff, aside from being a sport enthusiast, a practitioner, is also he has very keen interest in sport management. Since he came on board, I think I should go further.
Yes.
He has helped to move the bar, the need of the Nigerian Armed Forces participation in global sporting activities. Immediately he came on board, he sent our wounded and injured soldiers to the Invictus Games that took place in Düsseldorf, Germany last year. And they came back with a gold and a bronze. Nigeria was the only African nation that participated in that competition. Of course, he also sent our wrestlers to Azerbaijan to compete in the World Wrestling Championship. Same last year. And they came back with, the female team came back with a gold and a silver. You know, he hosted Chief of Defense Staff, basketball, Independence Day basketball this year, and also Democracy Day basketball this year. So he has, in fact, this year also, we established Defense Archery Team, the first Chief of Defense Staff to do that in the Nigerian Armed Forces. And the archery team, he sponsored them to Cote d'Ivoire to participate in the World Archery Competition in Cote d'Ivoire, and they came second.
Wow.
So he's pouring himself into sports development in the armed forces of Nigeria. He has done so much. Our volleyballers, he sponsored them to this the competition that was held in Bayelsa this year. You know, so many of them like that, footballers. In fact, in our barracks in Abuja here, they have different grades of footballers. He's their major sponsor, using the resources are very scarce, but because he understood the inherent power in promoting sport for the youth, and also as a tool for national cohesion on a non-kinetic line of operation in our fight against the insurgents.
Wow. This is the first time that I would hear, such a big step, particularly of the military using soft power to attack some very serious national issues. And it just reminds me of that old tradition that was established by General Joe Garba. I don't know if you remember General Joe Garba. In those days, in Northern Barracks, actually the military started our sports tradition in Nigeria. Joe Garba brought in O.B. Johnson. That's a basketball coach from America. O.B. Johnson is still in Ahmadu Bello University up to today. He's still coaching basketball, and he must have attracted our the chief of defense staff to go to Ahmadu Bello to go and play basketball. You see, that's the influence we are talking about. If you are influenced by that old tradition, you would promote it. And I'm happy that you were a boxer, because one of the boxers that we have neglected the most, who rose the most in Nigerian sports, was in the military, was a warrant officer, and his name was Obisi Anwakpa.
Yes,
so we have this old tradition of the military actually driving sports development in Nigeria. Now, 22 years after, you have started something. The chief of defense staff has started something and made you the chairman. What is the ultimate vision of these African military games? You want to use it for something, and you have brought it in, the biggest sports event outside the All Africa Games in Africa, and it's holding in Abuja. So just give us that vision and maybe your mission in hosting this event.
Thank you very much, sir, for this question. Of course, you have laid the premise. The military and the involvement in sporting activities is you can't divorce the military from that, and it's way, way, way back. We have contributed our own quota in, bringing up Olympians. So now, you will recall that recently, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso exited the ECOWAS. Now, this year, the Chief of Defense Staff traveled to Niger to discuss with the authority there to remind them of the relationship we've had over years through the platform of ECOWAS. So one of the, the motto of Organization of Military Sport in Africa is friendship through sport. So that we want to, extend this friendship to other African countries that we've had a level of interaction. We want to deepen that interaction. Number two, we want to foster unity among African military. It is better to play together in the field of sport than to fight wars. We know that one of the enemies of development in Africa are all these conflicts that are springing up here and there. And if you know the Sahel region is prone to very complex, conflict. Now, you can actually use sport diplomacy to resolve many things, many things, because on the field of sport, there is the camaraderie, the brotherliness, the friendliness that, permeates when you see sport people gather together. So using sport as a tool to engender brotherliness and friendliness is something that is worthy of any amount of money spent to achieve it. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they are coming for this game.
Wow.
Because every one of us realize that it is better to live in peace among ourselves in Africa. Secondly, the Chief of Defense Staff realized that when nations host sporting events of this magnitude, there are benefits for this host nation. Economic benefit, diplomatic benefit, it gives the nation, the hosting nation, visibility. And if it is well managed and successfully conducted, it could also attract foreign direct investors to come to that nation. If you read the report, the final report written by the Local Organizing Committee for the World Cup that was held in Qatar, if you see that report, not even the financial report now, the tourist inflow to Qatar during that time surpassed all tourists that have been coming to Qatar in the last 20 years altogether.
Wow.
Within just 2 weeks or even a month of this game. So we want to open up Nigeria to Africans and also to the world. Let them see Nigeria a stable, welcoming, with our diverse cultural presentations during the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies. We also want to showcase Nigeria as a nation that can mobilize our people for a national goal. So organizing these games is not for the military, it's for the whole of the society. And the approach we are using is the whole of society strategy to bring everybody on board to ensure that the Nigeria is the agenda projection, the renewed hope, mantra, the renewed hope, of Mr. President can be achieved even from our own side, the military perspective, to ensure that, the militaries, we also plug in as, an institution to contribute our own quota. Even although we are contributing at the national security scale, we also want to contribute in the sporting ecosystem because we know we have something to offer. You can imagine the number of people that are coming to Nigeria. You can imagine the number of hotels they are going to stay. You can imagine the economic interaction with respect to the people that are going to provide their feeding. All these women selling pepper in the market, people selling beef in the market, money will trickle into their pocket, and they'll be happy towards the end of, this is the end of the year. So the economic activities, the multiplying effect is unimaginable. It's unimaginable. Yes, sir.
AVM Timothy Marquis. Let me tell you something. This is between us now.
Yes, sir.
I have just listened to that sermon, and it is not often that I have the opportunity to hear somebody in sports go deep into how sports can be used in society to change society. You have done well. You see,
Yes,
they tell us in our little, school of sport that the fastest way to kill a big dream is to sell it to somebody that has a small mind. You have a big dream and you go and sell it to somebody that has a small mind. They will
discourage you.
They will just kill the dream.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
now I am seeing a huge dream actually being converted, being sold to a huge mind. And that mind is Nigeria. Because where we are coming from was an era where the military actually were the major stakeholders
Yes,
in Nigerian sports. They contributed the athletes, they contributed facilities, they had so many clubs. But something that they did at that time, which I'm going to ask you if you are planning to do or will do, is that the military actually deliberately recruited young, gifted athletes in different sports into the military and getting them to combine military, academics, and sports. A combination you cannot beat. Is that part of your agenda?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. For the past, let me say, maybe 12 years or 13 years, we have been involved in a protracted, counter-insurgency operations. So that was one of the things that, necessitated our, let me not say, completely withdrawing from getting involved at the national level or global level in sporting activity. But even in our barracks, in our bases, we do engage in physical fitness training, sporting activity. But recently, the Chief of Defense Staff directed that we should write letters to the services headquarters for deliberate and targeted intentional recruitment of, sports men and women, into the military. And that is ongoing. Because for you to train a A-list athlete, it will take time. So now we want to take in people that are already showing, semblance of world beaters, bring them to the military, give them the discipline that will further enhance their skills to be focused, to achieve this world beater status. If you look at Egypt, they have a deliberate, program where most of in their military, they have their various clubs and they represent their countries all over the world. This requires money. They spend money on facilities, infrastructure. They spend money to engage, credible and able coaches, sometimes on interim basis, to come into the military to give, the skills that is required. They also train their in-house coaches to be able to obtain licenses that will help them to compete among the best in the world. So these are all the programs that the CDS is, rejuvenating, not only in infrastructure, not only in the men, but also in technical depth to increase the technical depth available among our coaches in the armed forces. This is going to take a while and it's going to take, resources, but he's not afraid. The CDS is not afraid to put in resources into sport to ensure that we are able to get to where we used to be, then get further than where we used to be. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I will add to that. That, some of the most famous sporting clubs that we had in the past, because we have to go back to the past. We romance with the past because it holds such nostalgic memories for us. We are military related, or from military establishments. Jordan Warriors. That was a military basketball club based in Jordan Barracks, the seat of government itself.
Yes, sir.
We had several football clubs scattered all over the country that were based in the barracks, like Super 2 in Ibadan. There was one in Benin and Warri. And you had an almost exclusive club of national athletes in some sports. You mentioned archery the other time, and shooting, and all of those things. And shooting. And as a result of the military's contribution, in every sports federation, there was a military representation. And the presence of the military in each of those federations, can only be imagined. Because when you have a soldier in a federation meeting, he goes there with all the discipline of the military. And when they go in there, you see that whether they are chairman or not, that's their discipline, because they are soldiers, usually infects the entire meeting positively. You find that they are different. They think differently, they act differently, they take positions differently. And that's why, if you look through the history of Nigerian sports, you will find that at a period for some decades, 2 decades, it was dominated completely by the values, by the morals, by the discipline of the military. That was that kind of effect that the military had on Nigerian sports. And from just listening to you, I think we are going back to that era. The National Sports Commission has just been revived, and it will have a board. And on that board, I can give you a guarantee that the military will be represented. And these views I have just expressed are going to come back. So you should be ready. You should be very, very ready.
Yes, we are ready, sir. We are ready for any eventualities to move sport forward in Nigeria. Anything that we need to do across board.
Very good. People would think that this was a military program. Meanwhile, this is Eagle 7 Sports Radio, and we are reaching you from the little village of Wasimi in Ogun State, and we are reaching you all over the world. We are on social media platforms. We are streaming this program. We are on terrestrial radio. We are on online radio, and so on and so forth. So I want to welcome you again. And let's talk about the African military games now.
Yes,
I have a vision. I have a picture in my head. I haven't listened to you, that we are going to have a true festival in Abuja. Where will all of these games take place? What are the sports that will take place? Because amongst us civilians, we just have the impression that all our infrastructure and facilities are not good enough. So what are you planning? What are you offering us that will be different?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. As we speak, the Chief of Defense Staff has, through his strategic guidance, as we speak now, the tartan track at the National Stadium, we are trying to, prepare it to make it presentable. We are working on it as we speak now. The indoor gymnasium, they are working on it as we speak, not at the scale of maybe total overall renovation, but at a level that it will be made presentable for our friends that are coming all over Africa and also all over the world, because the seasoned representation will be is very important, and they'll be there. Now, the main centers for this game is the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. Opening and closing ceremony will be there. All the track and field events will be there. The indoor sport hall will host the volleyball, basketball. The gymnasium will host the badminton, table tennis. There's a squash court there. There's a lawn tennis court there. Those ones will take place there. The archery will be taking place at the hockey pitch. Now, at the velodrome, we're going to have kickboxing, wrestling, boxing at the velodrome. The handball will be in our barracks, our Green Rosy cantonment. We're going to have the shooting competition at Shitu Alao 177 Gas Brigade, Gas Battalion in Kefi. The obstacle crossing will be at the Nigerian Army Department of Physical Training in Giri. So you see, the 80% of these sporting activities will be at the National Stadium. The swimming, the combat swimming will be at the swimming pool. And the marathon will be at the Abuja. We have already marked the routes, and we are working on securing the route, for the games. Now, I want to use this opportunity to invite all Nigerians resident in Abuja and the contiguous state to come for this sport fiesta. Let's make it a family sport fiesta. Let's make it a youth sports fiesta. Let everybody come with their wives and children. Let's come in large number to support the Nigerian team, and also to extend Nigeria's warmness, Nigeria's vibes, to our friends from Africa. And let me tell you something, sir. They are all eagerly waiting for this game. They are all eager. They want to come to Nigeria. So I want to say that as a Nigerian, I'm very proud that I'm a Nigerian, and also we are, we are seen as a light. I can tell you, sir, from my interaction organizing this game, we are seen as a light to our African brothers. We have goodwill among our African brothers. I can tell you, sir, because of, coming out to host this game, our goodwill among our African brothers had shut up. They are so happy. This game has been the last one, like you said in your preamble, was held 22 years ago. But now that Nigeria is hosting it, they are all happy to come, eagerly looking forward to a splendid time in Nigeria. And this also will help us to change the narrative that is being spread around the world about the safety concern, about all manner of negative things. These guys, when they come to Nigeria, they see Nigeria because they used to say that seeing is believing. What you see will be with you. And these guys will be disciples for Nigeria. Whatever Nigeria is being discussed, they will say, I was in Nigeria. What you are saying about Nigeria is totally wrong. This cannot be achieved by money. Money cannot buy loyalty among people coming to your home. Once they come to your home, they are well treated, well received. They will go back home and say good things about your country. We need to be doing that. Then what about the citizen to citizen interaction? They will interact with Nigeria. Some of them will forge a lifelong friendship that will make them to keep coming back to Nigeria. Or Nigerians going there. What about Nigerians that they are going to exhibit their product our sponsors, we are giving them this platform to exhibit their product to other African nations that are coming. We believe that during this period, one or two of them or three of them will be able to, because of this engagement, maybe be invited to other African countries to start, the same business there. So, you see, the platform is huge. The opportunities, they are uncountable. Every of our sponsors, they should quickly dive into it. And all Nigerians that want to come and do one or two things at the National Stadium, they are welcome. Nigerians will be coming to sell their artifacts. People will go back home with our materials, our, different attire that are known, that are, synonymous with Nigerians. Many of them are even started calling, asking us to get them tailors, that will measure them and sew. This is our traditional, what they call senator.
Okay.
Most all of them they are started calling us. We are gathering tailors that will measure them and quickly sew these clothes for them. They love it. We are also talking with some of these our A-list Afrobeat musicians. We are talking with Olamide. We are talking with one guy in Abuja here, Psycho YP. They are all willing. We are talking with some of them. Some of them are even willing to come and play free of charge. So the collaboration is not only the military collaboration; it's also like a music fiesta where we want to, celebrate our Nigerian music, fusing it with sport for a memorable, sport fiesta in Abuja.
We are listening to Air Vice Marshal Timothy Marquis, and it is the other side of the military, the one that we usually do not encounter on the streets, but which, of course, forms the core of sports diplomacy. What we have gone through today is like a master class of sports diplomacy, what sports diplomacy can do. And I want to thank you so very much. Well, the public will have the opportunity, if our telephone lines work this morning, they don't conspire. The telephone number is 0700 2255 1037. 0700 2255 1037. So you can call us and ask any question, pass any remark, and join in the conversation. Something that has occurred is that several of your former retired officers, so many, have been sending me messages excitingly that, the games are coming. And how, are you inviting them? How are you going to, relate with them? They want to be a part of it.
They are all invited, sir. They are all invited.
They think that I share the same bedroom with you and the CDS. That I could just say, just give me your name, I will give it to the CDS, and he would just invite you specially and so on. But consider, our former officers in the military who were into sports also. They are excited. They want to be a part of this.